Living in clown world. Let's do it. So, if you live in the UK, you'll be aware that we are coming out of lockdown number 2 pretty shortly, next week one day anyway. So we're now heading back into the tier system, and where I live in the northeast of England, we are going into tier 3, which essentially is just lockdown with some slight easing. For example, restaurants and bars can be open for takeaway, I think. Gyms can open, which I can do with going to the gym, but I won't be. I haven't got time for that at the moment. Pretty much most things are staying the same, or near enough the same to not make much difference. Non-essential shops can reopen. There's restrictions on who you can meet, on households meeting. It's a depressing sort of state of affairs that we're in, really, to think that we're being dictated to by the government. I mean, people who say we don't live in a tyranny, I would say actually we do. The government decides which businesses can operate. The government decides who can come into your home. The business decides when you can go to work. The government just decides everything. It decides it for you. It's a big nanny state, like a North Korea sort of thing. And we're not miles away from the police dragging people out of houses and things. I believe they come for Christmas and things. So anyway, Boris Johnson has announced a little while ago that they will be easing the restrictions over Christmas for 5 days. Let's ask ourselves, why would he do this at a time when he says and his cabinet says that there is a deadly virus on the loose that's killing people? He's doing this because he knows for a fact that he would be made to look like an absolute clown over the Christmas period, because people would flout the rules anyway. People would go out to see their families, and there's not a damn thing the government could do about it, because at the end of the day, like, let's say where I live, Durham Constabulary, 1,000 police officers. Of those 1,000 police officers, how many of them are frontline police officers? I don't know. Of those frontline police officers, how many of them will be on duty on Christmas Day? Not that many, I would wager. And really, are those police officers patrolling around, going to see if you're going to visit your grandma, your mother, or whoever? It's just not going to happen. So basically, they've eased the lockdown restrictions over Christmas for 5 days because they know for a fact that the rules will be flouted and they'll be made to look like idiots. And then you have the other side of things. They're allowing this 5-day easing of lockdown, but then at the end of that, are they going to hammer us with, oh, well, we let you out over the Christmas time, so now you have to pay for it. Now is the time for another lockdown to stop the spread and protect the NHS. Piss off, man, with this shite. People, like less than 400 people have died of COVID-19, with COVID-19, who don't have underlying health issues. It's bizarre. The average age of death for COVID sufferers is over 80. I think it's 83 at the minute. That's the average age of death. It's just craziness that we're having these restrictions forced on us. The government are deciding who you can socialise with, how many people you can see, when you can go out, which shops you can go to, what you need to wear in the shops, when your business can operate, when your business has to close. The list goes on. I could probably rant on about this for ages, but I won't, because probably nobody's going to watch this video anyway. But it's frustrating. Like, personally, I run a couple of self-employed businesses, so one of them is very much impacted negatively by COVID, to the point where I've gone from earning, I don't know, like £500-600 a week, which I know is not a fortune or anything, but it's a reasonable amount of money to earn. Right down to, at the moment, if all my clients book in, I'm scraping in £130 for a week. I mean, that's ridiculous. Now, the other business I run is an online retail business, which has actually done very, very well, thankfully, since my other income has plummeted. But it's crazy. It's done well because obviously people can't get out of the shops as much as they usually can, so they are using more online businesses, which it has benefited my business. I'll not say it hasn't, because it has, but it's crazy and it's stupid, and I would rather have made less money on our online selling business and just had a normal life than all this crap. So my son's 11. He had 6 months off school or something in the first lockdown period. Then he was back at school for a couple of weeks, and then his bubble burst and he was sent home and learning from home and stuff. It's just no way to live. And I just think it's insane that we are living like this, and that people up and down the country are just accepting this, and it's like, oh well, you know, we've got to protect the NHS and blah 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 blah, and what about this and that, and my grandma died of COVID. Did she? I mean, did she really? Or did she die of whatever underlying health condition she had? I mean, you know, my father battled with cancer for 20 years. Well, what finally took him in the end was COVID. Yeah, sure it was. Anyway, I'm not convinced about COVID. I don't know what to say about COVID. It's a pile of dog shit as far as I'm concerned. The whole thing is a joke. I don't think we should be in a lockdown at all. We should be coming out of lockdown. We should be back to normal life. This is just taking the piss. I remember when this all started, it was sort of, what was it, 2 weeks to flatten the curve or something like that, and it's been a lot more than 2 weeks, mate. Let's get out of lockdown. Let's get on with it. Let's just crack on. It's like, just get on with it. Let people make their own decisions. If I'm willing to take a risk, let me do it. Shield vulnerable people if you feel that that's necessary, and if they want to shield them. Why should we be affected? Why like, I don't want to say normal people, but like people who haven't got underlying health issues, people who've got stuff to do. I've got work to do. I've got places to go. I want to go shopping, you know, without having to wear a bloody face mask and getting stared at by people if you don't wear one, or shouted at by security guys. I mean, who needs that crap? It's just it's a depressing way to live. There's no wonder it's getting on some people's mental health and whatnot. I'll be glad when it's all over, if it ever ends. I mean, is this ever going to end, or is this just going to roll on and on and on? And then we get on to vaccines. Like, are they going to force a vaccine on you? I mean, I'm not taking it. Why would I take a vaccine for what is essentially a bad cold for the majority of people? I don't need it. I don't need a vaccine for that. I don't need a vaccine for flu. That's it. I'm not having it. So unless you're pinning me to the floor and putting a vaccine inside us, I'm not having it. And I am not an anti-vaxxer at all. At all. I'm vaccinated against, you know, the normal stuff, MMR and whatnot. My son is, my wife is. It's just, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I do not believe that this vaccine is adequately tested. It's not proven to be safe. And most importantly, COVID-19 can kiss me arse, basically. That's it. I don't care if people don't agree with that. I mean, I honestly, genuinely don't care. Like I say, it's just a quick video today before I head out to work. So just some of my thoughts on moving into tier 3 up here. Again, another joke is that London is in tier 2. We're in tier 3. London has a way higher infection rate for COVID than we have up here. I live in a small market town in County Durham, population around 20,000. I don't know anybody who's had COVID or who's got COVID. Nobody. Life here should just be normal. I mean, we live in a small town. Simple as that. It's not a massive metropolis. And well, anyway, I'm going to go now. But before I do, it'd be awesome if you like and subscribe. Follow my other videos. I do all sorts of different videos. I've got some bits and bobs on tutorials for doing Amazon Flex deliveries, how to get into Amazon Flex. We'll have a little look at some hints and tips at Etsy, where we are very successful at selling on, and cooking videos and some other bits and pieces. So if you're interested in a broad range of subjects, then join the fun here and subscribe, like, comment, disagree with the video. I don't mind. But for now, I will catch you later.